fight fans and fight fiends, welcome back to Manny's Thoughts. I, of course, Manny MTL or Manny Montreal. Make sure to check me out on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and obviously thefightcity.com. As usual, I'll give you guys my thoughts on what's going down in combat sports. This week was a great week of fights. We had MMA and boxing. Next week's promising to be a great fight week as well. So let me get started. First off, Haymon and PBC do it again. Fantastic event. The ratings climbed through the roof on NBC for the Lee versus Quinlan fight and Garcia versus Peterson. Now, say what you want about the results. I think this is all going according to plan. The man, the godfather himself, the man who saved boxing, Haymon, basically no title, no weight classes, no rankings, no problem. He's been putting on fights that people don't necessarily want to see, but have entertained us nonetheless. And truth be told, he's the one winning ground right now. So I say goodbye and good riddance to Bob Arum and all like him. Because I honestly think Haymon's the future, and his business model is the one that's going to lead the pack. Now, speaking of things that PBC does differently, well, it seems they have chips in their gloves, and the only thing I want to point out is that so far, nobody punches as hard as Beterbiev in the entire PBC group so far. Now, it's an interesting thing that you can gauge power punching and everything. However, I don't think Beterbiev needs more hype. The people here are already clamoring for a white hype, hard-hitting champion, and honestly, with being let down by Jean-Pascal and possibly Adonis by some, Beterbiev might be the next one to bet on. However, I say hold your horses. There's still plenty of fights for that kid to have. And not only that, but in his division in Montreal, there's other names as well. Just Alvarez for one. I'll point out that people aren't mentioning his name right now, but trust me, he's going to be going somewhere. Now, for the Garcia-Peterson results, I think it went according to plan. Was Danny beat? Yes. Did Danny win? Technically, yes. Because Peterson didn't beat him. Now, I put it all squarely on Peterson's fault. Honestly, there was periods where he was inactive. There's periods where he was hurting him and he just didn't go after him. It's very weird. No killer instinct, if you will. Now, the great thing about the opening fight, Andy Lee versus Quinlan, well, I knew it wasn't going to be a great fight, but I had called a few friends and said, you got to watch this fight. They're going to have to kill this Irishman in order to beat him. He will probably win even if he gets knocked down a couple times. And sure enough, it came out a draw. Now, obviously he didn't win, but the point was made. Andy Lee, you need to kill the bastard in order to win. It's as simple as that. You're going to have to put him to sleep. And so far, no one's been able to do it. And Quinlan tried. Trust me, did Quinlan try. This leads me to one more thing about the Quinlan Lee fight. One of my favorite refs was reffing. He's so intense. He's so into it. Steve Willis, if you get a chance, look into this guy. By far, one of my favorite refs to watch. Sometimes I found myself not watching the fight and watching what he was doing. That's how entertaining this guy is. So into it. So into it. You can read it off his face. That leads me to my MMA news for this week. So Montreal's in the news, obviously because the UFC 186 show that the UFC was doing here in April has just had every setback you can imagine. Now, we have our usual problems with all the paperwork and commissions and gangsterism, organizations that have to collect their monies and, put down the rules and everything. UFC skated through all of that, however, didn't skate away from the injury bug, nor did they skate away from the lawyers. It seems the Bellator put an injunction and has now removed Rampage Jackson from the card. And at the time, I thought that was the only thing I was going to share with you guys. However, the story gets more interesting. So at the same time, I start noticing that maybe they're going to need a heavyweight. I get on my computer and do my thing, and honestly, I was kind of hoping that maybe some local heavyweights would get the shot. And I was thinking about a couple names, one in particular, David Decroix-Loiseau, who's still in phenomenal shape, who would put butts in seats, and for the nostalgia factor that Rampage was giving you, you would get with David Loiseau. But they decided to go another way. Now, what's interesting about who they chose to replace Rampage is the fact that he was actually supposed to be boxing in about 2 months. Now, I'll put it to you like this. Steve Bosse, ex-hockey player, occasional MMA artist, and now a boxer, who had a fight going down at the end of May in God knows where outside Montreal. And I was looking actually forward to that card because of, on the undercard, you got my boy Frank Catroni on there. Now, that'd be worth the $30, $40 of the show alone, and plus you'd get some heavyweights. But now, that fight's off. He was supposed to be fighting a dude named Barak, and it wasn't, you know, one of the greatest events on the planet, but at least it was a fight, and it was signed. However, Bosse, now with his manager Stéphane Patry, famous in Montreal for bringing MMA here and keeping it here for numerous years under several different promotions, basically he's a sports manager now, and he got Bosse a 4-fight deal. Now, before people start calling me a Bosse hater, I'll say this. I'm happy for the guy. Great for him. 4-fight deal? He gets to put food on his plate? Good for him. I'm happy for him. However, does he deserve it? The dude hasn't been rolling or doing any jits training. He's been getting ready for a dude named Barak that fought Butterbean. This is not the same thing as getting into the octagon. Now, that being said, there is at least 12 other fighters I could have mentioned. Not even in that weight class, just guys you could have put on the show. You could have bumped everyone else up on that card, bumped up Patrick Cote, bumped up everyone else, and put on a couple of young amateurs at the bottom. There's at least 10 to 12 guys that I can name you offhand that deserve a shot. And currently training, and ready, and been doing MMA for several years. This is why I'm a little upset with Bosse getting the deal. Now, I'm happy he gets to put food on his plate doing what he does. And I'm happy he's going to take this seriously because it's a big freaking deal for this guy. However, I'm a little sad that somebody else, maybe in my eyes, more deserving, could have got the shot. But it's the UFC. 4-fight deal or not, it could all end in one fight. Broken bone, bad drug test, whatever. It's very easy these days. So cross our fingers. I'm going to wish Bosse well. I hope he beats the smoke out of whoever it is he's fighting. But I digress. I mean, we've got so many guys that could have taken that fight that we're currently training. It's a little bit of a piss off. Okay, so that leads me to this week. We've got a bunch of fights to talk about. However, in this show, I'll only give you a couple notables. Make sure you tune in my other show, Fight Week Roundup. I am going to be talking about something like 24 fights going down this weekend. It's a lot. However, I'm more than happy to try and consume it all. Now, for the notables, first off, Shiller, Hyppolite, and Sorel, Quebec with Eye of the Tiger Management. They're putting on a fantastic gala. If you've never seen this kid fight, make sure you tune in. He is training with some serious monsters. Nothing but bright lights and big stars for this kid. Guaranteed future in the game. If you've never seen him fight, go to Sorel, Quebec. The tickets are dirt cheap. It's going to be a fantastic event. Another reason why that'll be a fantastic event, none other than the Montreal and Quebec young phenom Steve Bang Bang Butler is going to be on the card. And he's looking to get back to his KO ways. Kid's training hard in the gym. His last fight was a bit of a tough one, and I think that woke him up a bit. His training camp for this one went fantastic. I am predicting some big things from that fight. Now, if Sorel's a little too far off for you, at Club de Boxe de l'Est, Friday night as well, they will have an amateur boxing gala. Just a fantastic night of fights. Honestly, these kids sometimes put on better shows than the pros. It's fantastic. $25 at the door. You walk in. These kids deserve your support and your applause. If you're in the area, if you're looking for a fight, there's your answer. Now on TV, there's going to be plenty of stuff like I've already mentioned. However, the notables I want to point out is that on Friday in Niagara Falls, there's a fight going down between Dennis Hogan and Tyrone Brunson. Now Tyrone Brunson a couple years ago had me really wrapped up in him. And then he kind of disappeared off the scene. I'm not entirely sure what happened to him. I got to do my homework on that. However, the reason I'm mentioning this card is on the undercard, Canadian standout Tony Luis will be on the card. He's fighting a dude named Ira Terry, and honestly, he's a fantastic fighter. Make sure you guys tune in and support. He's from Canada, and more importantly, if you get a chance, go on his Facebook. He's trying to save some local gyms. Just support the guy. Fantastic fighter. I'm looking forward to his fight. Now, on Saturday, we are going to have an HBO versus Showtime kind of war. It seems that PBC took the weekend off, and wisely so, because HBO will have HBO After Dark in 2 different locations. First off, in Arlington, Texas, we've got Bud Crawford versus Thomas DeLorme. Just a fantastic fight. Bud Crawford, always fun to watch. And then we're going to switch over to Matisse versus Provodnikov. Just 2 killers. It's like Freddy versus Jason. Just a fantastic fight. It's going to be dinosaur level carnage. Just make sure you look into that fight. If you know someone who's on the teetering scale of being a boxing fan, make him tune into that fight. He'll be sold after that one. I don't even care who wins. I know it's going to be a fun fight to watch. Now, this brings me to Showtime. Showtime is breaking out their Andre Ward, none other than Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., and he's fighting Fonfara. Now, Fonfara we know because of Adonis Stevenson, and honestly, Chavez hasn't fought in forever. And the truth is, if I had his money, his life, I wouldn't be eager to get punched in the head. Now, if the kid's into it and really training, I'm looking forward to this fight. If it's just a lousy fight and he doesn't even look like he trained, that'll be it for me and Julio Cesar. I want the kid to do well, but I'm not sure if he wants to. So that's it for this week's show. Make sure you tune in to my other shows, Fight Week Roundup, Fight Week Rundown. Go to thefightcity.com, the best Montreal combat sports website there is. And if you like the t-shirts, go down to the bottom of the website. You'll see on the bottom there, you'll be able to order yourself one. That's it for this week. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. I'll see you guys next week.